it's Bethany with the Gypsy Bird Makes podcast, and welcome to episode 10. I can't believe that we are on episode 10 already. It's insane, but it's really exciting. I kind of look like I have a halo behind me at the moment with the sun coming in, but I wanted to leave the window open until it gets a little darker, just so you can see some of the greenery and stuff outside, since the time changes this weekend and more than likely the rest of the winter. These will be done in the dark. So I thought I needed a little bit. So I'm going to try to keep the sun directly behind me so it doesn't like go crazy everywhere. So this month we had a lot going on. It was really, really busy. So I did a lot of knitting, but I don't feel like I have a lot of knitting to show you. So yeah, we'll just jump in and let you see everything that I finished. I did finish 3 items. I think that's what I have on here is 3 finished items, and yes, 3 finished items and 3 whips. So not too bad, but we'll go through all of them and get you all caught up. My first finished object I finished really early in the month, so I have already been wearing these and enjoying them and really love the pattern. So I finished my everyday socks. It's a pattern that is by Rachel, and the name will be listed over here for you guys because I butcher names and I just don't want to do that. So all the info is going to be listed right here for you guys. If you have any questions, you can let me know. And all of the projects will be linked down below with any any items that I talk about will also be linked there too. So my everyday socks I finished. Look how pretty they are. I used a green that I already had in stash. I made my son some socks out of this last year during summer sock camp. And the yarn is Queen City yarn in a Walk into the Woods. It's a really, really pretty green. I really enjoyed knitting with this. I started off with, let me see. Yeah, I started off with 35 grams. That wasn't enough. Nope, was not enough yarn for it. So I knew that I was going to be kind of playing some yarn chicken with it. So I finished one sock, went back and started the second sock. I realized about probably halfway through the foot of the second sock that I wasn't going to have enough yarn. And I had measured it, so I was pretty sure I was going to run out of yarn. So what I ended up doing was ripping out the toe of the first sock, and I went and found some I don't think it was any particular yarn, just some that I had in my stash, and I just did both toes in this other green, and I think they look good. So I ripped that toe out, did that, and then I had just enough yarn to finish the second foot of the sock, and now I have a complete pair. I also did the Eye of Partridge heel. You can see right there, it's my favorite heel. I think it looks really cool. So that's what I did for those, and I've been wearing them. We've had some cold nights here in Kentucky, even though today it was in the 70s. Almost 80, and it is going to continue to be hot-ish in the 70s for the whole week. So yeah, it's like we had fall, winter, and now we're back into early fall, but that's okay. Let me see. Oh, I did omit on the pattern. There is a ribbing, I think, on this part of the foot, and I omitted that. I just wanted to do plain stockinette, so that's what I did. Oh, and this must be the one that I tore out, because I can see a little part of it right here. I don't know if you can tell, but there's like a little ridge right here. I think that's where I tore it out. I don't know. There's something there. But I really liked this pattern. It was a really interesting construct on beginning it. And with the you have the little folded, you can tell right here, it's a little bit of a folded hem type thing happening, which makes this tab, which is really nice. And it goes across the front of the foot also. So I really liked that. I liked that a lot better than the other socks that I did. Hold on, let me look back at them. The Journey socks. Sorry, I just blinded y'all with the sun. Sorry. But I liked these better, like I suspected I would, just because there's a little more oomph to the start of it, which was nice, and it wasn't quite as weird constructing it that way. I was going to say something else. Oh, I did think this one was going to be too loose on the pattern, and so when I did the second sock, I kind of decreased some stitches, and now that sock, I can tell which one it is because it's a little tight, and I'm like, I like the other one. So when I make these again, I won't do what I said on my Ravelry page. There's some notes there that explain what I'm talking about. But yeah, I'm going to be making a few more of these. I think my mom would really like them, so I think I'm going to make a few more pairs this month as gifts. But that was my first finished object, and I really like them. The second finished object I don't actually have with me. I have mailed this off to my sister-in-law, Kayla. She had requested the pocket wrap that's really popular that you've probably seen on Facebook or had family members ask you to make for you, or you may have made it for yourself. I made one for my mom previously two Christmases ago, I think, and I just used the exact same sorry, the dog. I just used the exact same pattern as I did for my mom's. I think I used the same yarn. For the yarn, I used Knit Picks Brava Bulky in Cobblestone Heather. I used 553 grams. So I think I still have like 2.5 balls or 1.5 balls left. I used one size needle bigger than the pattern calls for. So I used a US 11, which is a 8mm. And I also added some length to it. So the construct of the wrap is you cast on the whole length of it. So instead of going like a scarf that you would go like up the side, it's like you're knitting the long rows and not the short rows, if that makes sense. So with my mom's, I thought it was a little short, and I made the biggest size. So for this one, I actually cast on 167 stitches, which isn't a whole bunch more, but I think it's enough to make a difference. So I did that. I did some repeats, worked on it really hard, like exclusively for about, I think it was 3 or 4 days. Yeah, like 4 days, and got that done. And then I got to mail that out to her, so she should be getting that this upcoming week. It's a surprise. She doesn't know that I actually made it, so I hope that she really likes it. But I hate that pattern. I'm sorry. If you love it, good for you. I'm so happy that you like it and that you love that style. But for me, I don't like it. I don't like the look of it. I don't like making it. Yeah. And it is a knitted pattern. So it's by Wisdom PA, or wait, Pearls of Wisdom PA. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with the pattern. I mean, it's written great and everything. It's just not my style. So I really haven't enjoyed making either of them. But I got it done, and it's made, and it's shipped off, and hopefully it will make her happy, and that is what really matters. So yeah, I was really glad to get that done. And then I have one more finished object to show you, and I just finished these a couple days ago. I was like, I only have like one thing to actually show on the podcast. I need to get my button gear and actually finish something else. So that's what I did. I spent the last few, once I sat down and did it, it didn't take very long. It's just that I hadn't been working on it. So these already have hair on them, and they've just been sitting in my house. That's what happens when you have a zoo, is everything gets hairy. I swear. I carry hair with me, so even when I go places, there's hair. But I made some socks for my husband, and this is, I'm trying to get it to where the sun won't be in the way. Oh, maybe there. Let's see. This is the pair. So I used an acquisition. Oh, it's not looking very good. Hold on. I'm going to close this window behind me and see if I can get it to look a little better. Okay, hopefully you can see a little better. Let's try it out. So I made these socks for my husband, which again, it's black, and there's yarn, and there's hair, and there's everything. So I just washed these, so please just ignore the hair. But these, oh yeah, that's much better. So these I made for my husband. And I was wanting to make yarn out of, or making yarn, oh my gosh. I wanted to make socks for him out of this yarn, which is by Fangirl Fiber. It is Hellfire Club, and it's the Stranger Things yarn that she had a few months ago. I made my daughter socks out of it last month, and showed you guys on the last podcast. So I wanted to make him some socks too, but I also knew that I wasn't going to have enough to make it solid in that color for him because he has a really big foot, and I used over 50 grams for my daughter's socks. So I had to get creative. And in the way that I did this, I barely used any of the yarn for it. So yeah, it worked out though. I think they turned out really cool. So I have the Hellfire Club, which are the stripes. And then the black yarn is by Forgotten Fiber, and it's called Paint It Black. And this is like a really, really true black. It's really good. I really like it. I will probably buy from them again. There was only one thing. It was a made. It said that it was ready to ship when I purchased the yarn, but it didn't ship for like 2 weeks, which was kind of frustrating. And she messaged me the day that it was supposed to arrive according to Etsy, and it said, and she was like, "Oh, I didn't have that one in stock. My stuff was wrong. I'm sending it out today." So I appreciate that she let me know. Then I just would have liked if she would have told me maybe a little earlier. I don't know. That just kind of irks me when things don't ship when they're supposed to. But I really liked the yarn, so I will give them another shot and try to see. So what I did for these socks is I did the little pop of color at the top that the Crazy Sock Lady does a lot. So I think I cast on and did 3 rows on that, and then 17 rows of 2x2 ribbing, which you really can't see. Like, oh, but you can see those hairs, can't you? Oh my gosh. I needed to try to get those off beforehand. Anyways, then I did like 10 rows of black, and then each of these stripes is 2 rows of the contrast and 3 black, and I did that 8 times. And then I did 10 or 7 more black rows, and then did a heel flap and gusset, which is just a slip stitch one. I used a Crazy Sock Lady pattern to get my numbers for it. And then I did the gusset decreases, 5 rows of black, and then 8 more sets, exactly like the leg. Then 5 rows and the toe. No, 7 more rows. So it's just like this part is exactly like that part. But I do have 2 of them, and I just finished them a couple days ago. So he will be happy to get those and be able to wear them next time he is off. I used a US 1 2.25 millimeter, and let me see. I don't think I have anything else to say about that. There are 72 stitches and just simple old vanilla socks. Took me ages to make them because I didn't work on them. But I took them with me to SAF, and then I really didn't do any knitting while I was there, so that's why I cast them on. But those are my last finished objects of October. Before we go any further and I show you these whips that I have, I wanted to talk about my shirt. It is from Sorella Yarn, and I will have it linked down below. I love this shirt. I wear it a whole bunch, and it's really comfy. So in case you want to get one, I believe they're still selling them right now, but I will have that link down below for you. Okay, let's move on to whips. So I have 3 whips. I have 2 knitting whips and 1 crochet whip. Isn't that crazy? I have a crochet whip on it. Yeah. Okay. But first we're going to talk about my most exciting whip, and the one that I really wanted to have finished like 2 weeks ago, and I didn't. And it's still not finished, but that's okay. I've kind of taken a break from it this week because I was trying to, I think I just needed a break, and also I wanted to work on those socks and get them finished, so I did that, which was good. But this is what I am calling my Brioche Shrug. It is the beautiful information that is going to be right over here for you. I don't know how to say the name, and I don't want to butcher Suzanne Summers' pattern name. So I'm just calling it the Brio Shrug, but I will have it linked down below in my Ravelry page in case you want to make this pattern because it's really, really pretty. So I think I showed you guys last time, yeah, that I had cast it on. And I'm very much farther in the work. I actually, according to the pattern, should be done, but I'm not. So the reason I'm not is I want to make it a little longer than the pattern. I think that my gauge was good for the stitches, but not for the rows, which is typical for me. So I'm doing a few more repeats. You're supposed to do, I think it was 8 repeats at the bottom here once you get down to the bottom, but I have done 10 so far and will probably do at least 2 more before I try it on again. But I really, really love it. And I have a boo-boo that I have to fix. See, it's like, I don't know what I did, but I'll have to fix that somehow. It's like I missed a stitch or something. I don't know. I'll figure it out. But I'm really, really loving this pattern. It's really well written. It has all the numbers that you need for like each time you do a section and all kinds of things like that. So let's get into some of the details of the project. So I am using a US 5, which is a 3.75 millimeter on my Chiaogu needles, which you can see here. And I am also using these amazing needle stoppers, I think is what they're called. I love these. They're from a company on Etsy, and I can't remember what they're called off the top of my head, but I will write it down here for you guys. I love them, and there's some in my acquisition section to tell you about too. But those are the needles I'm using, and I'm making these size 4. I wasn't sure if I was going to do the size 3 or 4, but luckily in the beginning of the pattern, 3 and 4 were the same up until how many repeats I think you do or something at the end. So I was like, that works. I can decide once I get a little farther into it. So I decided to just go with the 4 since it was already kind of not the length I wanted it to be anyways. And I just decided this oversized is going to be fine. So, and I know this is going to stretch a whole bunch when I block it, but I would rather have a little extra to it instead of wishing I had extra, if that makes sense. So the yarn that I'm using, I'll show you. So the main color is this beautiful yarn that is by Yarn Cafe Creations, and this is, I keep saying that it's angel cake, but it looks like it's spelled angle cake. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. Let's look at the actual thing. No, it's definitely angel cake. I just had it spelled wrong. Okay, I'm glad, because angle cake didn't make sense to me. But this is her label. This is a really old one because I've had this yarn for a while. But Yarn Cafe Creations, and that's an angel cake. This is what started the whole thing and wanted it done. So yeah. And then my contrasting color is by Moon Glow. And it is this really pretty, it's not showing up quite right, but it's this really pretty purple, and it's called Lunar Lavender. And I do have there's Moon Glow, Whitney's yarn, and then here we go. Luna Lavender there. I am loving these two together. They are so pretty, and I mean, it's so pretty. I love purple, as you guys have probably guessed, and I'm really digging this pink, and it's got some little green and specks in it. It's really great. I love it. And these are in my Yarn Cozies, which are patterns by Nitty Natty. These are the Yarn Cozy Lights in knitting, and she also has them for crochet, and she has some miniature ones as well. This one, I kind of messed with the pattern a little bit. So this one is the simple version. I'm not exactly sure if it's basic or simple or how she calls it. But what I did was I flipped the pattern. If you've made this pattern before, you'll understand what I'm saying. But I flipped the pattern. So this is what the inside is really supposed to look like. But I think it looks really cool because it kind of gives that that knit bump, which is kind of fun. So I highly recommend this pattern. It's amazing. I love it, and I use it with all of my yarn. And another thing that I'm using with this are my barber cords, which I got off of Amazon, and I'll link them down below. But they're holding my stitches for my sleeves, which you can see right here. Isn't that pretty? I still have to go back and do the sleeves as well. But I think I'm getting there. I mean, it's going to stretch a whole bunch. I think I'm going to do 2 more repeats and try it on again. There are over 470 stitches a row, and the repeat is technically 4 rows, but it's brioche, so you're doing it 8 times. So it's 8 rows of 470 plus stitches, and I'm still adding stitches. So it takes me a really long time to do a repeat. Like, I can work on it all night while watching TV and maybe get through 1 repeat. So I want to try to get this finished up here pretty soon, because I have some gift makes that I want to start working on more, and just want to get this done because I really want to use it and wear it. It's so pretty. I'm really loving it. And then my little stitch marker here. Stop moving, little gnome. Here we go. This is by Lock and Lou, and it was her little autumn gnome, and he's super cute. So it's almost time to switch him out, but it's Thanksgiving time, so it can still be done. I did make a few mistakes in the beginning, like 1 row. I don't know if I'd done it already when I talked about it on the podcast last, but here it is. I must have. But you can see this 1 row right here is I knit or purled when I should have done the opposite, and I thought about ripping it back because I did it in another section as well. But then I was like, I pulled on it and was kind of like seeing what it would look like because it's going to drape and everything. And I was like, no, I don't think it's worth going back. I don't think anybody is going to notice. So I left it, and I think it'll be fine. Because, I mean, I hold it up and you can't really tell. But isn't it really pretty? I'm so excited for it. And I just love brioche. Oh my gosh. Is brioche not just so pretty? If you have not tried brioche and you're scared of it, you can do it. I promise. This had a really weird cast on, and I had to watch the tutorials on how to do it. But I got through it, and I got to it, and now I feel like a brioche almost pro, because I know there's a lot more to it than just increasing like this. I know, but I really like it. So pretty. So there was something else I was going to say. Oh, yes, I remember. I need a contrast color to do for the I-cord bind off on this item or for this project, and I don't know what to do. I can't decide. So I'm going to put the picture up of the finished pattern from the maker here, or for the designer. And you see how it has that really pretty, I think it's orange in the picture, border on it. I want to do a really big pop to mine as well. So I have some minis, and I really need to look and see if 20 grams is enough also, because if it's not, then I'm going to be limited in what I can do. But these are the 3 minis that I am trying to decide on. So I have this really bright neon yellow, and then the green, and then this blue. And I don't know which one to do. Which one do you think would look the best? I want it to look good with it and not like completely out of place. I'm kind of thinking one of these 2. What do you guys think? Let me know, because it'll be a while before I get there, at least 2 or 3 days. So if you're watching the podcast in the first few days, please let me know. Ooh, my mic came undone. Please let me know if you would use the green or the blue. I think those are the ones I'm going with. I'm not sure. I think it's one of those. Oh, and this is in my bag by Black Pearl Magic. Sorry, my mind just went like completely blank. So this is by Black Pearl Magic, and then I have this little Notions bag, which is not from her. Can't remember who it's from. It's on the bottom of the screen for you, and I will have them linked down below, but I really, really love these pouches, and it matches perfect with my Black Pearl Magic bag. So that's what I've been housing it in. It's kind of overflowing, so I don't really close it anymore with the zipper, but it's doing okay. My next work in progress has also been on the needles basically all month. I made this, I was like, I want to make this hat pattern, which is the double thick hat, and I want it to have some vanilla knitting for, you know, out in the car or whatever. And so I cast it on, and then I kept working on my shrug when I was watching TV and I wasn't going anywhere, or when I was driving. So I didn't get to work on it very much. But last night, I had a Zoom that I was doing with the Love and Stitches membership, and then I watched TV for a few hours, and I was like, I'm going to work on this. This is what I want to work on. It's vanilla. It's simple. I can just sit there and not have to think, because life's been stressful this week and I just needed something simple. So I got a lot of it done last night. Let me just tell you some of the details of the pattern. So it is the double thick hat pattern by Karima Ali, and I'm using a US 3 Chagu 16-inch needle, and it is a 3.25 millimeter. I'm using 2 different yarns. So the first one is this green, and this is by Sorella Yarn, and it is called Tom Branson. It was in her Downton Abbey collection. I think that was last year that she had that. So that was the first one, and then I couldn't decide what color I wanted for the second part, because it's kind of got that double edge look to it. I'll pop a picture in for you as well. But I couldn't decide until last night, and I was going to use a gray that's kind of like an alpaca and really soft, but I was like, that's not going to really match the gauge, and I don't know if that's going to look right. So I then was like balling up this yarn, which is from the socks that I finished for my husband, the black yarn, and I was like, that would be perfect. So this is what I have decided to use for the second side, or the inside, whichever he decides to use it as. And this is Painted Black by Forgotten Fibers. And yeah, let me show you what I've got. This yarn has been, it's been caked up for a really long time, so it's kind of wonky looking. But this is what I have so far, and it really, really looks like a Musselburgh hat right now, but it's not. And I think, is this a free pattern? I think this is a free pattern. So what you do is, I really want to make sure it is a free pattern. Hold on and let me double check. Yes, it is a free pattern, so I can talk about it. So what you do is you do a provisional cast on, and you start with the green, and you start right here, and you knit all the way down for, I think it was, I did 7 inches, and then you start doing the crown decreases. And then you come back and you pick up the stitches of your provisional cast on and start knitting the opposite way and do basically the exact same thing that you did on this way. So it's a more complicated Musselburgh hat, in my opinion. Yeah, it is. So I also did a few different things on the decreasing. So I tried it on my son and was like, it's getting to where I need to finish this up and get it closed up. Not making much sense, but I started decreasing, and I did, the decreases are, you decrease 8 stitches and then knit 2, and then decrease 8 stitches and knit 2, and keep going until you only have 16 stitches left. And obviously it's not like 8 stitches right in the beginning, but you can see the little spiral there. So I did that until I had, I cast on the largest size, which is 120 stitches. So that meant I have 30 stitches for each section, and then 2 decreases on each 30 stitches, if that makes sense. So I got down to 20 stitches per section. So I had 80 stitches total, and started doing 1 knit row, 1 decrease row, 1 knit row, until I got down to the 16 stitches. And you can, it worked out really well. I don't think that it caused a problem or anything in the pattern. That just was going to work best, and especially since I was doing the larger size for a kid head. But I mean, my kids have big heads, so it just needed to be shortened a little bit. So yesterday I started knitting probably around here. Knit all of this, came back and picked up the stitches, watched 2 TV shows, and did about 2 inches of black. So I think that's a pretty good amount of knitting that I did yesterday. Way farther along than I was, and we're gonna need hats soon, so I'm gonna work on getting this done maybe during schoolwork or car rides or waiting in line somewhere for something like that. These are also on, I have these needle stoppers, I think is what they're called. And again, I'll have them linked down below. These are some that I got this month and I really love them. They're so cool. Actually, I have it written down right here what they are, where they're from. They are Fox and Pine stitches. So they will be linked down below. They're in Canada, but they ship really fast and their products are really awesome. So I definitely recommend them. But yeah, I actually, confession, I almost ripped this out last night. I wasn't enjoying it and I was like, is this really gonna fit my kid? Like, is this gonna work? Why am I doing this? And like some of the stitches just look funky. Like I don't know what I was doing. Like was I holding the, I don't know. It just looks funky a little bit. So I'm hoping it blocks out and blocks okay, which I think it will. But if not, he's a kid, he doesn't care. So it'll be okay. So that's that. I have been housing this in a Mountain State Stitches bag. I had this project and that project both in this bag. That's why it's so huge. So I'm about to switch it over to a smaller Jenny bag, who is the maker of Mountain State Stitches. And yeah, I'm going to do that after the podcast. So that is the second work in progress that I had to show you. Disclaimer, if you are my mother and you are watching this, you're not allowed to watch the next part. So I will put a nice little screen time down here for you to skip to because you're not allowed to watch this part. So go ahead and fast forward. Okay. All right, I'm going to give you a second. Okay. Hopefully, if my mother is watching, she has listened because this is a Christmas present for her. And I am making a crocheted granny cardigan. I have the pattern here. She actually purchased this pattern and sent it to me and said that she wanted me to make it for her. So I don't have a link for this pattern. I'm not really sure where she got it from, what website she got it from or what, but she printed it out and sent it to me and was like, I want this. But she also wants some different things done to it. So this is what it is meant to look like. And I know they have different granny square cardigans patterns on Ravelry that you can check out. It just won't be this exact one because I haven't been able to find it. It does say this is US crochet pattern granny square cardigan. If you want to look that up, you probably might be able to possibly find it. I have no idea. But yeah, so this is what I am trying to recreate. But my mother does not want the big granny in the back. She wants a whole bunch of little grannies like the front. So I'm gonna have to figure out how to do that. It has been quite a while since I have been a crocheter. Back 10 years ago I learned to crochet and I crocheted like a mad woman for about, I'm trying to think, probably 6 years. I didn't know how to knit then, so crochet was my first love of the fiber world. I had an Etsy shop and I sold tons of hats, like the Minion hats, and I made a TARDIS hat. I made the Katniss shawl thing that she wears in, I think it's Catching Fire. I think that was what it was. Anyways, I made tons and tons of things and sold them on there, and then I got really, really burnt out and didn't do anything with yarn for about a year or two, and then that's when I came back to loving yarn and discovered, you know, hand-dyed yarn and knitting, and it's been downhill ever since. So it has been a while since I did anything crochet, but when I was crocheting, I was able to look at a pattern and figure it out and go with it. So I'm hoping that comes back to me while I'm putting this together. So My mom wanted different colors than in the pattern as well. So I just went to Hobby Lobby and actually I ordered it from Hobby Lobby. I love this yarn in a whole bunch of different colors because it's worsted weight pattern. And I had asked her if she was originally going to pay for the yarn. So I was like, do you want me to get $30 a skein, or do you want me to get like $3 skeins? And she was like, you can do the Hobby Lobby yarn. She didn't want to pay that much. So when I decided to make it for her for Christmas, I decided that's what I would do as well. So I have made, I believe there's 25 here, but this is my stack of grannies that I have so far. All of these granny squares. My goal was to make like 5 a day, and I did that for like 5 days, and then I failed. So they all have their ends are all woven in, and they're ready to go. She wants a black border around it, so kind of like if you've ever watched Roseanne or the Connors, how it kind of has the crochet afghan on the back of the couch. Kind of imagine that with the black around it. So I have to decide if I want to do a single crochet around it to join them all, or if I want to do a whole nother granny round with them in the black. So I'm not sure. She wanted mostly like blues, so I have a lot of blues and some purples, and then she was like, oh, I want some yellow too, so I got some yellow, and then there's some pink and purples in there, but I think they're going to go really pretty together. The pattern doesn't tell you exactly how many you're supposed to make, so I'm just kind of winging it and going to go with it and see. I did buy a hook for this. I have my other hooks up in one of the bags up there, but I wanted to try a different hook, so I got this one. I think it's a Boyd hook. I just ordered it off Amazon. It's got the nice squishiness, and it was purple, so I was like, that works. And it is a 5mm. So I think it's an H hook. So yeah, let me see what else I had. If I had any notes on it. Okay, so my goal was to finish it by mid December, because that's when I was probably going to see her next. But now she might be coming earlier than that. So I think I should get it done quicker. So once I finish my Brioche Shrug, all of my time will probably go into this. Although crochet hurts my wrists a lot more than knitting does. So as long as my wrists are doing okay, I will probably just work on it solely for a while. I could probably get it done in like a week or so, maybe. I don't know, we'll see. The thing that is so frustrating with crochet for me and with granny squares is there are so many ends. So many ends. I mean, I was doing them in the car one day at stoplights. There's so many of them. But I've just been keeping them in this, and there's a whole bag full of yarn over here. I'm not going to go through the colors, but they are, this just Hobby Lobby yarn, in there. I love this yarn, which is what I used all the time when I crocheted before. Like, it was the premium yarn for me to use back then. So I have a list on my Ravelry page of all the colors. There are a few extras on there because I returned some that were very, very similar, but for the most part, that's what it is, plus some yellows. I don't think I put those on there. I'll try to fix that for you guys so you can see. But this is my crochet project. Don't hope to see more crochet, because there probably will not be very much. It's just not my passion anymore. Crochet is great, but I really enjoy knitting and learning new skills with that. So hopefully next month you will see a finished granny square cardigan. Fingers crossed. I have a lot of things for November that I would like to make. But my month is also going to be quite crazy and quite wild. So we'll see how much of the stuff I actually get done. But yeah, this is my list right here of all the things that I want to make. It's not gonna happen. But I do want to finish on my Brioche Shrug. Before I do anything else, that is what I want to finish. And the double brimmed hat. So I'm hoping, what's today's Friday? Maybe definitely by the end of next week, I want to have them all finished and be working on my mom's cardigan. Yeah, I also need to make a couple of pairs of socks for a gift, or actually, I need to make 2 pairs of everyday socks and a pair of socks for my dad for Christmas. I think I want to do an all-over rib. I've wanted to make those an all-over rib sock for a really long time and just never have done it. So I think I might make some for my dad. I might also need to get some yarn. I'm not sure if I have anything in stash that I can use. So those are some Christmas makes that I need to do. And let's see. Oh, my mom's dog ate one of her socks that I have made her in the past. So she asked me if I could make her a replacement pair. And I think I have enough yarn to do it. And I'm hoping I have good notes on Ravelry from that pair that I can do that. So I'll probably try to do that this month too. That shouldn't be too hard to do, just one sock. And I have a sock of Felicity's that started to unravel. I don't know what happened. The stitch got cut or I dropped it or something when I was making it. So I also need to repair that. And I want to make some fingerless mitts for all the kids and me, and make some more hats. Not the double brim hat. That one's not my jam. If I want to make a double hat, I'll make a muscle burrow. I have that pattern already, and it's really simple, and the picking up the stitches after is not, I'm just not a fan of that. But that is a good alternative if you're wanting to make a hat like that. The muscle burrow is a paid pattern, and the double thick? Yeah, double thick hat is a free pattern. So if you're on a tight budget and you want to make a hat that's similar to the muscle burrow, the double thick hat is a great option for you. But I already own the muscle burrow and I like that pattern, so I'll just do that. And I need to decide on what Advent projects I'm going to do, because I have quite a few Advents, well, more than I've ever had. Yes. So the year before last was my first time having an Advent, and I got a 12-day Advent from, oh snap, what's her name? Woolly Mammoth Yarn Co., I think. She's in Ireland. No, Scotland. She's in Scotland. And I had her 12-day Advent that I opened, and I opened one every other day for that, and that was my first experience. And then last year I had Sorella's Advent, and if you saw, I wasn't a fan of it, but it was a 25-day Advent, so that was fun opening it every day. And then this year I ordered my friend Natalie of Blush Yarns Advent way back in the spring, and I just got a shipping notification for it. It's coming from Canada, so I am so excited for that. It comes with a bag and everything, so I will show you that all during Vlogmas this year. And yesterday I couldn't help myself, and I ordered the Moonglow Rainbow Advent too. It was a stressful week, and I was like, I really want this Advent, and I'm gonna get it, so I did. So I'm really excited to get that, and I have kind of a plan of something that I want to make. It is I think it's the Stripes cardigan by Andrea Mowry. It is called for sport weight, but I'm gonna see if I can figure out how to do it maybe in fingering. I'm not 100% sure that will be what I'm gonna do, but we'll see. I really liked it. I saw a couple models or a couple samples of that at SAF, and it was beautiful. So if I can figure out how to make it in a fingering weight, I'm going to do that. Which, I mean, I just have to get gauge. Normally my gauge is weird anyway, so maybe we'll see. I was thinking of making the Jilly cardigan with my Blush Yarns Advent, but I think I've decided against that because it is made in DK weight for one. and it's granny squares. So it would be crochet, and I'm going to be granny squared out by the time I get to that. So, yeah, I decided against that. So I might get a shawl or like a shawl or a cowl, something like that, maybe that I'll do with it. Yeah, last year and the year before, I did not use my advents in anything. Like I just opened them and that's all I did. I had the cozy knitter socks that I'm also doing this year with my friend Stephanie. We got the yarn and split it, since you can make 4 socks out of 1 skein. So we're going to split it in half, and both of us are going to make it together throughout December. So that'll be really fun. But that's all I did last year. So this year I actually would like to use the advents. So we'll see. I might change my mind completely. It also depends on how much of my gift knitting that I get done, because that's going to come first. So I'll definitely be doing the socks and then maybe doing something else. We'll see. I don't know yet. But I do have a few sweaters that I also want to make for my kids, but they're listening, so can't say too much about that. But I'm going to, I've gotten the yarn for 2 of them. So the first one that I really want to make is what is going to be on the screen for you guys. And I ordered yarn from Knit Picks because they're kids, and that's the best kind of yarn for them. So I'm going to make the body in, I'm using Swish DK for this pattern. And so I've gotten what I need for that. So I have a black, and then I have this pink, which is called for, well, it's not this yarn, but the colors. And then this will be the little body on the top. And there was one other color, white, I think. So this is what I've got for that. I really want to get that done by Christmas. I think it'll be really fast once I get through the yoke of it. So if I can like take a weekend or a week and get that done and then just do the body, it'll be simple. And I have plenty of yarn over here for that. And then I also want to make the Montrealer, which, who is that by? Is that by Des, or is that by, it'll be on the screen. Can't remember exactly the name. Oh, I should have it right here, actually. It'll still be on the screen. But, because it's on my Designs by Dells or Des, I'm not really sure. But yes, and then the other sweater I will put there as well, but I had a list that I took with me to SAF and then I didn't use it for anything. Oh well, at least I had the list. So for that Montrealer, I'm going to be using Wool of the Andes worsted weight. So this is going to be the main color because his favorite color is, for the middle one, is blue. So I picked that, and then I picked these 2 for the stripes. So the green is green tea heather, and then lake ice heather, and this blue one is Delft heather. Anyways, so that's what that will be made out of. And I also don't think that will be too hard. But then I have a third one as well that I need to decide on. So we'll see. At least the first sweater I want to get done for my daughter. And then the other 2 I could give after, though they will be fine. But I can't give the other 2, one of them one and one not. That just doesn't work that way. So if you're a mom, you know. But yeah, I have a hefty list of things that I want to get done. And it's going to be very cold this winter, and I want to wear all the things. So yeah, the Salem sweater by Tristan of Dragon Horde Yarn is also on my list to make. I don't think that'll get done this year though. I need to start thinking next year. But yeah, wish me luck in all of my endeavors. Time for acquisitions. I was expecting to have a lot of acquisitions this month since I went to SAF, which is the Southern Fiber something fest. I'll write it down. I can never remember it. But I did do a whole video on that weekend. It was my first yarn festival experience, and it was a lot of fun. I went over to Black Mountain, North Carolina, which was about a 6-hour drive from here in Kentucky. And yeah, I had a lot of fun. I went with my friend Jill, and I'll talk about that more in live section in a minute. But if you want to see a more in-depth of everything, see the festival and see exactly what I bought and where I bought it and all that stuff, you can go and check out the link that is going to be up above here for you, and check that one out. I am going to go through just really quick and show what I got, just in case you don't want to watch that video or you haven't seen it and you want to see. So we'll start with that real fast. I didn't get very much, so it's just a few things. But I did get this beautiful yarn from 29 Bridges. I absolutely love it. I think I'm going to make some fingerless gloves for myself out of that. I'd never seen her before, so it was nice to see a new dyer and try out her yarn. So this one, I think, is going to be some fingerless mitts for me. The next one that I only got 2 skeins of yarn when I was there, is by Nitty Gritty, and this is called Ballerina Slippers. And I don't know why, but this one just screamed at me, take me home. I don't know why. I'm not really a big pink girl. I say this as I'm wearing like pink, but I just loved this color. And the dyer was so sweet. She was there and we were chatting with her. So I picked this one up, and I need more solids in my stash, so that was a win. This is my favorite thing that I got, and I'm really excited. I didn't want to use it until I showed it here on the podcast. So this is by Cottontail Farms. She makes project bags, and she had fiber and notions there as well, but her bags were beautiful. So this is the one that I got from her. I love it so much. I've been stalking her page because I want to buy some more of her stuff. But I almost got 2 bags. This one I think was her large, or I think this one was her large or medium. I can't remember which one. But she had a lot of different other sizes and stuff. So this one is really big. It's got a purple bottom. There's no pockets inside, but that's okay. And it's got a drawstring like this. And then the other cool thing is my friend Jill has a project bag kind of similar to this that she wears like a crossbody shoulder pocketbook bag type things. And this one had the little D-clips so that you could do that with this one too. So I also bought the cord to go with it. So I'm going to be able to do that. Ever since I saw Jill's in the spring, I really wanted to have a bag like that. I thought it was so cool. So I'm excited. I'm going to be using this. I think I'm going to save it for a new project, so it's special. We'll see. I might switch out something today. Who knows? So those are the only things that I got at the Fiber Festival. I lied. I also got this sticker. This is from Black Mountain Yarns, which their store was so fun, and the owners are the sweetest. If you're ever in the Asheville area, make sure you check them out. Downtown Black Mountain is really fun and cute and a great place to just hang out for the day. You won't be disappointed if you check them out. So I also got that. That's going on my computer. And then I got the Painted Black yarn that I used for Brian's socks. They came in this month as well. So I did get that skein, came right in, went right out into projects. So I was happy to have bought that and put it right into projects and not just into stash. I also got the little needle stoppers. So I showed you the one earlier that was on my hat, and then I also got this pair. I also bought a pair for a giveaway for the Shop Your Stash make along. So one lucky participant will be getting a pair of these as well. I love them. They're so fun. And then this just came in like 2 days ago, but Simply Serving, I love her stitch markers, progress keepers, all those things. And last year she made a whole bunch of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer ones, and I remember messaging her and was like, are you ever gonna do like a Frosty the Snowman? And she was like, I don't know, maybe. And there weren't any that year, so I was like, oh, okay, maybe she's not doing it, maybe it's not her jam. But then this year she did do them, and I had to have Frosty because that's my favorite. I've watched it basically every year of my life at Christmas time. My kids used to watch it in the middle of July. It was just the thing they watched. So I got my little Frosty. Is he not the cutest? Oh my gosh. She just does such perfect, beautiful work. And yeah, that's going to be my new little my Christmas progress keeper. So I'm really excited to use that. And one last thing that I purchased was Natalie had her definition collection, Natalie, and I had ordered a whole bunch, I think, in September, and then she was closing it out, so you can't get these anymore, but she may open them in the future, I'm not sure. But I ordered this one, so I needed another hoodie, and this one I got in the same color that I'm currently wearing, and the Knit Flicks, which is one of my favorites. So this poor cardigan, it had a trip, let me tell you, or cardigan pullover. I ordered it and it bounced all around Kentucky, Indianapolis, Indiana, like it went everywhere, and finally made it to me, thankfully. I think it was floating around Kentucky for about a week, but thankfully it got to me. So I've already washed it and worn it, and it's super cozy, and I'm glad that I bought it. So that's really, I think that's everything that I bought. Let me make sure. Yep, that was it. So I think that's really good to have been going to a yarn festival, and I only came back with 2 skeins of yarn and a bag. I think that's awesome. So it was an insane month. October seems to always be really busy and really popular. We have a birthday, an anniversary, and all the fall things happening. So I'm going to go over a few things. Well, I have lots of things to tell you, but I'm going to go over some things of the month and just do a little life chit chat. So if that's not for you and you are only here for the yarny bits, that part is over. So thank you for joining. But let's move on to October. So October is my husband and I's wedding anniversary. We've been married 16 years now, so that was exciting. We went out to dinner and just had a good time. We got Japanese, which is one of our favorites. So that was nice. It's kind of like bizarre to think our marriage could drive now, if you think about it that way. It's really weird, but I love him more than I did 16 years ago, and he's my best friend, so I'm glad he stuck around with me for this long. And then we have my middle kiddo. His birthday is on the 18th of October, so we celebrated him. We went out shopping and did everything that he wanted to do that day, and it was a lot of fun. He turned, how old did he turn? 12. I have a 12-year-old now, and a 14-year-old, and a 10-year-old. It's wild. I'm not that old. So those were really busy, and that made the first half of the month go by really quickly. I feel like we did something else early in the month that I'm not remembering. I don't remember. It's not on my list. So the weekend after my son's birthday, sorry, the dog's walking by and I'm trying to keep the camera thing from getting jolted. She has to lay like right in front of me every time I do anything, but now she's laying over there, so maybe we're safe. So the weekend after my son's birthday was SAF, and I was really excited to be able to go. It was the first time that I had left like just me to go do anything, So that was wild. I went and I met my friend Jill, and we had a really fun time together. My sister Sabra was supposed to come as well, but she wasn't able to last minute. So we really missed having her with us, but we understand, and God has a plan for everything. Oh, she's gonna kick. Sorry. Oh, and speaking of Sabra, I would like to say hello to Natalie, my niece, who watches this. Hi. And if Adeline and Porter are also watching, Aunt B loves you, and we hope that you have a great day and listen to your mommy. I promised Sabra that I would say hi to Natalie. So, Natalie, Aunt B says hi. I'm doing a lot of talking to family in this episode, so bear with me. So it was really fun. Again, you can see that whole weekend in the vlog, which was really fun to put together and kind of go through that whole experience. I also got to meet up with my friends Erica and Amanda. They're from the Love and Stitches membership, and it was so great to see them and to, get to hug those people that I've seen on Zooms and in Discord and everything. So it was a really fun weekend. Taylor Swift released her new album the day that I left, so I got to jam to that the whole way there and the whole way back, and now I can sing the whole album basically. So that was fun. I'm glad that she released it that day. I rented a car for the weekend and did that. So yeah, it was a fun little getaway, and it kind of gives me like the knowing of I've done that once, I can do it again. The anxiety will not get me, that big angry anxiety monster that kind of tries to rule my life sometimes. So yeah, I was really grateful that Brian encouraged me to go and that I was able to go and do that. Let's see. When I got back, I came home to about 3 sick kids. Well, my husband and 2 of the kids didn't feel well. They all had like scratchy throats and stuff like that. So I was like, glad I wasn't here to catch it. Me and my middle haven't caught it yet, and it's been about 2 weeks. So maybe we will not be catching whatever bug it is that they had. Speaking of, my throat is scratchy from talking so much. But yeah, when we came back, I hadn't realized that the Ark Encounter was so close by to us. It's about a 2-hour drive from where we are located, and it's something that I've wanted to do ever since I heard about it. So we drove over on Halloween and did that. We live in an area that doesn't have any kids, and nobody was going to be doing trick-or-treating or anything like that. So I was trying to think of something fun we could do, and I was thinking either the Louisville Zoo, and then I learned that the Ark was close, and it was supposed to rain on the day on Halloween, and it did rain. So I was like, we don't want to be at the zoo when it's raining, even though there was a mini zoo at the Ark. But we really didn't get rained on. But I'll put in the video that I did of us going. It was so fun. It was really amazing to see how big of an Ark that is. Like, you hear about it and you think, wow, that must be big, but to actually see it in person is really brings the story to life and makes it, I think, more relatable, especially for kids. So I was really, really glad to go and to get to experience that. So if you're in the area ever, it's like 30 minutes north of, crap, now I can't remember what the name of it is. Not Louisville, the other big city. Can't remember off the top of my head. We drove through it. I want to say Lawrence, but that's not it at all. I'll try to put it on the screen for you guys. But that was a really, really fun experience. And then the next day we actually drove up to Louisville, which was only the second time that I've ever been to Louisville. We live about 40 minutes south of Louisville, and my husband drives to Louisville for work. So I've only ever been to Louisville twice, which is weird. But we drove up and we went to the mall. My kids had some money they wanted to spend. We went to the Lego store and we got some yummy local food and had a fun day shopping and just hanging out. So yeah, that was really fun to come back and from staff and be able to do those fun things. But yeah, that's basically all that happened, I think. yeah, I just realized I did something out of order. That's okay. I'll film it and you won't even know that it goes before, until now. The plans for November was filmed after this part. But I got a surprise when I was at SAF. We had been waiting for a renewal of my husband's contract because we really wanted to stay here in Louisville area in Kentucky until February. But the hospital decided that they were not renewing. They are doing a travel nurse company of their own that's going to kind of work in and around Louisville and the surrounding areas. So they don't want any outside contracted nurses. So they decided not to renew the contract, which was a big shock because they're really busy and we assumed that they would and we wanted to stay. But we did not. So we are moving again, which is really crazy. I was not expecting that at all. It definitely took me by surprise, but now I'm really excited. We found out today, exactly where we are going. So I've been doing all kinds of stuff. It's been a really stressful week. Brian decided to try a different travel company, which I'm really excited about. This new company it seems like it's more put together and seems like they have some better pricing and things like that. So I'm excited to give them a try and see how it goes. So far, it's been really great. But of course, it's only been a week. So we're kind of in that honeymoon phase. We'll see how it goes after a few months. But we applied to a whole bunch of different places, some in Kentucky, some in New Jersey, some in Missouri, Georgia, like those different places. New Hampshire was one that we really, really wanted. We've never been to the Northeast, so we really would love to go up there, and it would hit a whole bunch of states off of our list to see. But that didn't happen. We got a job offer in New Jersey, and we also got one in Kansas City. But New Jersey was being really, really strange in that they didn't want our kids there during the winter. Even though we homeschool and everything, they were like, no, they can't be here. And I guess New Jersey just has stricter rules probably on homeschooling and things. So I was really wanting that one. We were going to be like an hour from New York City, and that was going to be during Christmas time, so that would have been really fun. But we had one person say a yes, then a no, then a yes. And I was like, I don't want to go somewhere and there be a problem. I don't want to go somewhere and other people have a problem that we're there, or it be some kind of thing. So I just prayed about it, and I asked people to pray about it, and I just didn't have a peace about it. And I also didn't have a peace about Kansas City. There were a few places that I really liked, but then I couldn't get the people to call me back. I couldn't get them to give me an answer. People were assuming things like, oh, this is near a lake and I don't want your kids near it. And I'm like, but it's going to be wintertime and my kids are like 10 and older. Like, I watch my kids, I know what's going on. So I just never really had a peace about Kansas City. So Brian decided to apply to two more places. So one was here in Kentucky. It was like an hour away. And the other one was Aurora, Colorado. And Aurora, Colorado was paying exceptionally well and needed people fast. So we applied yesterday and within 6 hours got an offer. And within an hour of looking for places to live there, I had 2 already lined up. And I just felt peace about it. So that's where we're going. We are going to be going to Aurora, Colorado, which is wild. And it is a 7-week contract. We have never done one so short before. So yeah, it's going to be wild. So we'll be there till January 10th-ish, I think. That's really short. So I don't know. The hospital could extend, but we could also be moving again in January. I don't know, but it'll be interesting and fun, and it's a new company. We've never stayed in Colorado before. We drove to Denver one time, and that was in the middle of the pandemic from Gillette. Was it Gillette? Yes, from Gillette. Sorry, we lived in Billings, Montana, and Gillette, Wyoming, and I get them mixed up all the time, even though we lived there. But yeah, so it's going to be interesting. I want to do some fun things. I get to wear all of my knitwear because it's going to be cold. So yeah, we're really excited. We will have 2 days to get there from Kentucky. That's a long drive in 2 days. So yeah, I might do a short little vlog of like scenery changing and things like that. But yeah, prayers would be much appreciated, especially in 2 weeks, because that is when we are moving. We are moving the 19th and 20th. So if you think about us those days, prayers for safe travels, healthy bodies, and no broken parts, and good weather would be amazing. And I would so appreciate it. And I'll keep you guys updated and let you know when we get there and all that. So that is why I wanted to have the window open a little bit, so that you could see Kentucky for one last time. Because, yeah, we won't be here next podcast. It's crazy. I'm really excited about it, though. Colorado is somewhere we've always wanted to go, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Speaking of next time, the next time you see me will not be the podcast. It might be a vlog, but before the podcast, Vlogmas starts. That's how I started my channel last year, was Vlogmas. So you can go check that out and see a very awkward and very, I don't know, probably boring and crazy setup for the Vlogmas. But I did do it last year as my first thing, and I am planning to do it this year. I'm really excited. It should be really exciting being in Denver area, and kind of maybe we'll go do some fun things and stuff like that. So we'll see. So I would love if you came along with me and watched. You can let me know if there's anything in particular you'd like to see in our daily lives, since there will be 25 days of vlogs for you guys. I love Vlogmas. It's just so fun, and I look forward to it every year. So I hope that you will consider watching mine and enjoying it and letting me know what you think. And then I have decided that come January, I'm going to start 2 podcasts a month and give it a try. I just feel like I really like the monthly type schedule. I don't think I'll ever be a weekly podcaster. I just don't have enough stuff or time or anything to do that. But I think 1 month, like finishing those everyday socks, I could not, when I went to get the things that I finished, I could not remember. I was like, I know I have 3, but I cannot for the life of me remember what the other ones were, because it was so long ago, almost a month ago. So I had to look in my list of things, and yeah, anyways, it took me a while to figure it out. So I think every 2 weeks would be good. So I think I will do a one on the 5th, like I've always done, is drop the podcast on the 5th. And then I'm thinking maybe either the 15th or 20th. I'm not sure. I want it to be a consistent day, and not like just every 2 weeks, but oh, hey, it's the 5th, Bethany's podcast is dropping, that type of thing. I think that'll work. It'll be my thing. What else am I saying? Oh, I was going to talk about the things that we watched this month. TV has started back in the U.S. We have, if you're not familiar in the U.S., things normally start in September and run till about April, May, with many reruns in between. It drives me crazy. So all of my regular TV has started back. I watched tons of TV like Grey's, NCIS, The Resident. We started The Winchesters. The Good Doctor, like so many things. 911, so many things I watch. But I was just going to talk about some things that me and Brian watched because we watched more things together. So we finished watching Lock and Key. I think it had a great ending. It was a good series. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed binging it. I'm not sure if I would have enjoyed having to wait for each season, but it was really great to watch, and we enjoyed it. We've been watching Andor on Disney Plus, which has been great. I think for me it started off really slow, but this last week's episode made it get really good. It was really good. So I'm really enjoying it more and more the more we watch it. Brian and I have been watching The Great British Bake Off on Netflix. I've been a Bake Off fan for, way back when it was on PBS. So a long time. And I love it. I love everything British. Paul Hollywood, Prue, all of them, they're the best. It's just a really great, lighthearted, make you hungry, make you want to bake things, which I'm not a baker, but I always want to after I watch that. And we also watched the show The Mole on Netflix. This was a show that came on 20 years ago, maybe. Oh my gosh, I'm showing my age, but it was probably 20 years ago, and Anderson Cooper was the host, and I think it was on ABC, and I loved it. It was such a fun show. So Netflix had a new version come out, I think last month, October or November, but we binged it all and watched it. We had to wait for a few episodes, but it was really fun. The person that I thought was the mole was not the mole, but I was close. That person was one of the last three, but that person was just not a nice person. So I was hoping she was the mole to cover it all up, but she wasn't. She was not. So those are the things that we mostly have been watching. We're going to finish Great British Bake Off and Andor, and I want to watch House of the Dragon. I'm going to have to fast forward or skip parts. Again, showing my age with the fast forward thing. Skip parts, but I'm really excited to see a big Matt Smith fan. And we have 2 Doctor Who episodes we need to watch. So that's what we'll be doing whenever we can catch a breath. So I am going to finish here with you guys, and thank you so much for watching episode 10. Thanks for sticking with me for this long. It's so exciting. And if you think about it, keep us in your prayers for safe travels coming up in a couple weeks. And I will see you guys next time in Colorado. So have a great November and happy Thanksgiving if you are in the US, and happy month before Christmas to everybody else. Bye. Oh, I didn't even turn this on. Oh my gosh. I am a hot mess. Go. There. Thank you. Oh, here we go. Make my bra useful. Sure, why not?